Welcome. I am going to retweet this from the Red Eagle Twitter because Red Eagle Twitter doesn't have premium. Okay, it will though. We'll fix that. I've done this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. First thing I want to talk about, this is not going to be a long show. I'm buried in a lot of work. I have to prepare for a hearing tomorrow in Sacramento. I've got a lot of DV cases, litigation that are wrapping up. So the first thing I want to talk about is diversity visa program for fiscal year 2024. As everybody knows, that ends September 30th. However, we were flooded with declarations in our lawsuits in DC on behalf of mostly Somali DV selectees this year. And we now know that it is likely that the State Department will use all allotted 54,850 visas that Congress allotted this year, probably go over again. And that is expected to happen by September 23rd. Okay. That is Monday. So if you are a fiscal year DV 2024 selectee, do not email me. We are not accepting any more DV 2024 clients. I'm a day or two behind an email too, so I probably won't even see your email, but until it's too late. Just do everything you can, move heaven and earth to give the embassy whatever the embassy is waiting on from you. Okay. If you haven't been scheduled for interview, the journey is probably over. But they've already used, as of September 15th, which is 3 days ago, they had already issued 51,284 visas. That's counting what the State Department issued and USCIS issued combined, because USCIS can use those green cards for adjustment of status too. Okay. Let's see, there's an exhibit here. Oh, issuance chart. It shows what months that they were issued. And the reason for them doing such a good job and coming so close to using all the visas this year is they really picked up the pace in July. We were worried earlier in the fiscal year, but by issuing 6,000 visas a month starting in July, well, almost hitting 7,000 in August, that really helped make up for the extremely pathetic and awful performance that they had in October and November. See, where they didn't even issue 2,000 in either month. Okay. So that's enough about DV 2024. Next, DV 2025. It's difficult for me to talk about it. Those selectees were announced in May, and those interviews will start in October, right? Some of them have probably already been scheduled. Okay. DV 2026, the entry program, the entry for those will start in October and go to November. So if you're thinking about entering the DV lottery program, the very first year you can do it right now is for DV 2026. And the entry period for that starts in about a month. Most important thing, read the instructions. Okay. About half of my time is spent explaining to people that didn't read the instructions what the instructions were and why they do not have a viable journey going forward. Because if you don't read the instructions and then you're selected, but you didn't follow the instructions, it doesn't count. Extremely rare exceptions to that. Usually, though, if you choose the wrong country as your country of origin, or if you don't use your right birthday or name or something, or if you omit a spouse or child, it's awful. Like, it's not a good thing. Okay. So you have to read the instructions and be careful about your entry. Okay. Student group lawsuits. some of you know, we filed a string of small group lawsuits for students or J1 researchers, and all of those are working out differently. Some of them, all the plaintiffs are being issued visas, and some just a few, and some none. And it's difficult to predict how those play out. Okay. But what I would say is we are getting caught up on those. Okay. If you're our existing client and you're CM 273, that case will be filed shortly. Um, I For the next group case, instead of putting the burden on the community, like the students to form the group themselves, I'm actually forming a group myself with 15, and I've already got 5 lined up. So you can email me directly if you want to be in the next student group lawsuit. It's going to be 15 applicants, 1,300 apiece. You had to be an AP at least 6 months. Okay. Sometimes people say, why can't I file a lawsuit for AP when it's been less than 6 months? It's like, because the delay has not been objectively unreasonable. Like, no judge would find a delay of 6 months or less is unreasonable. So there's no reason why we want to. I mean, technically they would check the case to make sure it was being processed correctly, but is that worth the amount of money of a lawsuit? I don't know. That's something for you to judge. Family based. Next thing I want to talk about is family based. A lot of Iranians are stuck in post interview AP that are family based categories. As you know, we filed multiple group lawsuits for that. The next one we had planned in announcing middle of September. It's middle of September now, and we are too busy to announce that right now. So I'm anticipating we're going to announce that in a couple weeks and move forward with it in October. If you wanted to be notified when we did that, there's an interest list on our website. I have a little banner here for that somewhere. That's the website, readygolaw.com/lawsuit interest list with the little dash on either place. Okay. This is not asking for a bunch of your information. It's just asking for your name and your email address so we can let you know when we offer that group lawsuit. Group lawsuits are more affordable, so they really work for a lot more people. Okay. I think that's all of the things that I needed to update the community on. If you had any questions, you can put those on Facebook or YouTube channel or maybe Twitter, and they'll show up here and I can answer them. What else do I want to? Okay. While I'm waiting to see if anybody has any questions, I do want to give this tip because there's a lot of people being issued visas right now. That happens in September because it's the end of the fiscal year, and embassies work better in September than any other month, it seems, consulates and embassies. If you are issued a visa, do not go to Starbucks, go to the airport. Okay? That's the Curtis rule. The reason is I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails from people that did not go straight to the US after they were issued a visa, and their visa was subsequently revoked, or they got COVID and it expired, and then their journey ends, and that's awful. That's so tragic to make it all the way across that finish line, but then you didn't enter the US, and that's the real finish line. Finish line is not clearance. It's not being issued the visa. It's having the stamp of the passport. The clearance line is entering through Custom and Border Patrol at a port of entry, which can be a land border or an airport in the United States, where they stamp that stamp on your passport, and with that stamp attaches rights. That's so wonderful, to have rights as a lawful permanent resident. And you do not have those until it happens, till that stamp happens. Up until that point, you just have a sticker and it's on a piece of paper. It doesn't give you rights. Okay. One more thing I want to talk about. John Ting, another immigration attorney who does videos, he made a video on Instagram the other day about how USCIS is delaying applications that are not current, and how that just it's not good for people. And I was like, you know what? He is absolutely right, because you need to know whether or not the petition is good so you can plan your life. And so the idea that you would pay USCIS and then they would not even look at the petition because it's not current. This happened a lot with F2A cases. Um, it's not good. Now there's some categories where it is good, like if there's derivatives and you don't want them to age out. But for the cases where there are no derivatives and CISPA is not an issue, you need those decisions on USCI. So I have a call scheduled with John next week, and maybe we're going to put together a little announcement. You never know about a litigation solution for that. I don't know. I'm going to pitch it to him. We'll see where that goes. Because I think he has a lot more clients in that situation than we do. But it is a situation that bugs me. Okay. One more thing I want to talk about. Remember, we discovered that the National Vetting Center in Sterling, Virginia, is now processing all the non-immigrant visa applications. And we see that as a way to obtain venue in the federal court for the Eastern District of Virginia. I just want you to know that that project is well underway. We have filed multiple lawsuits now in the district court for the Eastern District of Virginia. And we are eager to find out what happens with those, because maybe that's going to be the new DC for filing lawsuits against the State Department for cases in AP. I know it's novel, experimental, but I'm optimistic. Okay. That's all I have for today. And I don't see any questions, so I'll catch you next week on Let's Talk Immigration. Thank you for being here and have a great week. Take care of yourself.